Yo,
Genius Digital Success Podcast. Charlie, welcome to the show, bro. It's been a long
thank you,
time
bro.
coming.
I
We've been
know, right?
discussing doing a podcast since I don't know, but finally,
I
finally,
know.
finally, we are here.
Time Naso. Time
Time
Naso.
naso, time naso, bro. Welcome to the show, man. So
Thank you.
as tradition, I leave my guests to introduce themselves, so you can do your own humble brag. So let's go. Introduce yourself, Mr.
Hey,
English.
if I want to brag, go to my LinkedIn. Anyways,
Hey,
my name is Moses B. Arthur. My B means brain two. Brain two means a warrior, a fighter. So you see me championing and campaigning a message that says it shall never be war with poverty. That's what you see Kofi wearing, that's my merch
shall
right
never be
there.
well. Yeah, brain
So
too.
I champion a message where we break limitations of the mind, we break limitations of the body, we break
Yeah,
limitations for us to just know that there's possibility out there. So,
yeah.
my humble self, I like to call myself a hustler because I'm constantly hustling. I'm a hustler, but predominantly I'm an entrepreneur. I run a company called Lushgroup LLC. I co-own a company called Afrimat Atlantic, and I'm just around the corner. I'm a speaker by the grace of God. I've spoken across a couple of platforms, not just in Ghana,
Mhm.
but across the continent and beyond. And my flagship keynote speech, The Seven Universal Currencies for Leveraging Anything in This World, which is actually my third book that will be out, is on a TEDx global platform. So you just go to
Yeah.
YouTube, search Moses B. Arthur, The Seven Universal Currencies, you see it on TEDx. And so I'm a TEDx speaker. And as part of what I do, I author books. I have two books out: The Entrepreneur's Journey and Ideal Startup Guide, authored that in 2018. In 2021, I authored
Yeah,
my blockbuster book so far, Understanding Systems Thinking, The Modern Art of Building Learning Organizations. We've
Charlie.
sold over 3,000 copies. We've done over 16 countries, and we're trusting God to become
In
international
country, in
best-selling
country.
authors soon.
Yeah.
So pretty much that's what I do. I'm a hustler. I'm a survivor. I trade. I invest.
Hmm.
I like making money. Pretty much that's about me. Yeah.
Money is good, so it's good to make money. Charlie,
What
you
money
see,
cannot do, more money can do.
more money can do. You see what I say? I go make
Right.
my guest introduce herself. Can we ready if you win nah? You see? Charlie, it's good to have you here, man. All
Thank you,
right, so
bro. Thank
let's
you.
kick this up. So let's start with Lash Group LLC. So you're the
Right,
founder of Lash Group LLC.
right,
What happens in that company? We'll take your companies one by one. So you speak to us about it, what you do.
right.
You know.
Last group is very, very interesting for me because I've had that vision and that birthing since university. So in 2015, I went to KNUST, so Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the best
The best
university in
school, the
Ghana.
best. Thank
I,
you.
argue with your phone, the best school in Ghana. The
Thank
reason
you.
why it's one of the best schools is that if you enjoy the Volta Lake, if you enjoy Temamoto Way, obviously they didn't name Legon after anybody, but they named Tech after Kwame Nkrumah for a reason. You understand? So,
Bars.
one of the best schools, one of the best schools on the continent, one
Oh
of the
yeah.
best schools in the world, the best school actually in Ghana. You can argue with your
Tell
keypad as you
them.
watch
Tell them.
this, anyways. So in 2015, I started something called Para Deliveries and Coinbase, and it was my first company that I set up. At the time, Bitcoin was not what it is today, but
Hmm.
I'd seen what Bitcoin was in 2015, and I remember going to see my pastor to tell him that there's something called Bitcoin, and it was the first time he himself was hearing it. So we had a lengthy
Wow.
conversation about what this whole Bitcoin thing was. And then I wanted to go into deliveries, what we normally it's now the thing of the day. In 2015, there were not as much deliveries as it is now. So
Yeah.
I started a company and it failed, but I still had that entrepreneurial spirit inside of me. So in 2017, when I completed KNUST, I felt like doing something for myself, building something of my own. Looking back 6, 7 years down the line, if you ask me if it's something I'll do again, yes, I will do it over and over again because of the
Yeah.
leverage this thing has actually brought me. So in 2017, I started City Broadcast Limited. It started off as a digital marketing company. Um,
Okay.
Currently is the investment holdings hub for Lash Group LLC. And that's to say that it's okay. Samsung, if you don't know, I'm telling you, Samsung actually did not
Hmm.
start as a Samsung company. It started as a
Yeah.
company that was producing tomatoes. And
Can you
so
imagine?
today, Samsung is producing some of the best screens you see around. It should tell you something that when you start off a vision from a particular point, the more you
Yeah.
keep working on the vision, it grows. And this is to speak to somebody who's going through, an experience where you have an idea, but you are trying to make everything perfect. Don't let the spirit of perfectionism catch you. What you need to do is, if you have an idea, roll it out. The more you work on the idea, the more it becomes perfect. You
Yeah,
take a look
exactly.
at people in the scriptures. I like my Bible a lot. So you look at someone like Abraham, and then God says, "Come out of your father's house to a land I will show you." He did not show him the land. So he took a step of faith, and the more he was
Mhm.
walking, the vision kept becoming clearer. So it started off as a digital marketing company, and then it was hosting its flagship event, City Broadcast. I mean, it was hosting an event called Entrepreneurship Hub Africa,
Yeah.
and we've evolved so much from then to what we are today. Currently, the group has like 6 subsidiaries. It's not easy building something in this part of the world, but we're trying our best. We're putting in the work, and like any vision, you go through challenges, you go through ups and downs, but we're
Yeah.
determined to make it work. So pretty much, that's what Lush Group is about. Yeah,
Yeah, Charlie. Lengthy one and very informing. Right. So I think you've touched on Lush Group. So it's like the big company that you run. It's like the mother of all the companies you run, right? If
right.
I'm correct. Thanks. I know you're into entrepreneurship, right? Usually I
Mhm.
ask my guests what they do, and then because of what you do it as a everyday thing, you have some advice, some tips to share with people, right? I remember that time when we talked about entrepreneurship. It made it sound so glamorous, but with time I
Mhm.
realized that it's not like that at all. And I know you have a lot of experience in that. So can you shed some light on somebody who wants to start a business as an entrepreneur? What are the things they should do or they shouldn't do that will make them move at the fast pace or at a pace that is more productive and helpful for
Right.
their business? Yeah.
Right. Coming from my own experience, yeah.
Yeah.
The things that I would say will be the fact that, first of all, if you want to start doing something of your own, which is go entrepreneurship or run a business, and you work for someone, I'd I would advise you should make sure you have enough buffer. I have a friend who was working for someone, and then he was earning about 6,000 cedis a month, and he abruptly just stopped because he said the pay was no good. And currently he's home and there's nothing coming in. And I told him it's best you were earning
Yeah.
that 6,000 than to be home earning nothing.
Nothing.
So
Yeah.
if you're working for someone and you want to quit to go do your own thing, make sure there's a buffer. So when you go on my Instagram, the Moses Arthur, you see that I sometime back I did a teaching on the dark side of entrepreneurship, like in 5 parts, because
Yeah.
for most people they tend to think that um, you know, entrepreneurship is about flying the jets, driving the luxury cars, splurging on the girls, splurging on the drinks, being able to afford all these luxurious vacations and all of
I
that.
know,
It's
right?
true. That's at the peak. That's Jeff Bezos level. But if you're doing this thing in our part of the world, then you need to understand that it's not all the glam and the glamour that social media has showed. And the sad thing is that social media shows end results, nothing about progress and process.
Yeah.
So if you're working for someone, I'll come from that angle. If you're working from someone, then most importantly, I would say have a buffer such that if you're gonna walk away from your work at least for 2 3 years, even a year and a half, you are afloat because it's
Hmm.
an idea. It's not been tested in the market. Nothing shows
Exactly.
that people will buy. Nothing shows that people will believe you for what you do. Nothing shows that people will show up and support you. You need to test it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll come from that side. And then I think that when it comes to entrepreneurship and
Hmm.
when it comes to doing business, for me, businesses revolves around, I want to talk about it from one angle to another angle. The first will
Sure.
be the fact that for first time entrepreneurs, one of the things they look out for is products.
Yeah.
When somebody's trying to go into business and all of that, their focus is on the product. So I make the best suit, I make the best shoe, probably I make the best drink and all of that. A lot of people want to focus on product, but product, I beg to differ, do not win business wars. Distribution does. So if
Mm.
you're gonna go into entrepreneurship, one of the very first things I would even say is that um, forget product, fuck product, focus on your distribution. Focus on your distribution. When I say
Yeah.
distribution, what do I mean? Distribution, we're looking at access to markets and access to the very roots, such that,
Okay.
trust me, if you have access to the market and you have access to the people who need your thing, creating a product for them is not difficult. Let me give you a
Right.
classical example. We wake up every year and Apple brings to their market products. They do
Yeah.
not have to worry about the market. They have the market already. They designed a product for the market. And so,
Mhm.
first time entrepreneurs oftentimes focus on product. Second time entrepreneurs ought to focus on distribution. So,
Right.
distribution is what wins business wars. But then, in trying to build all of this thing up, the next thing you need to understand is that from distribution, you need to move into a place where I call you own the value chain.
Okay.
So be somebody who is looking at not just building a business but owning the value chain. So for instance, you are somebody who produces shoes, but you have um, somebody in town, maybe Accra or Kumasi somewhere, who makes the mast, the cast, and all of the things that involves in making shoes for you. How
Right.
about making sure that now you build your business and a brand to a place where from the time you start thinking of an idea, you have where to get the leather because your company owns the leather. You have where to
Yeah.
file the shoes because your company does the filing. You own the entire value chain system. So it means that when you walk into a meeting, by the time you think of an idea all through to execution till it hits the customer's hand because you have a marketing wing, you would have sorted that out. Then, for the biggest part, for those of you that dare to dream, for those of you that wake up and then you want to own islands, for those of you that
Mhm.
wake up and then you want to fly to Mars, for those of you that wake up and then you want to dominate the planet Jupiter, then we're
Yeah.
not looking at you just we're not just looking at you focusing on product distribution or owning the value chain. We're looking at you building an ecosystem. In building an
Okay.
ecosystem, you own the entire thing. So
Right.
when I look at people like Mark Zuckerberg, we're looking at people where you jump on their platform, you can
Mhm.
advertise on the platform, you can land clients on their platform, you can close deals on their platform. They own it,
Yeah.
like they own the road. So a classical example is that you look at somebody like CZ, who is the owner of Binance. Now, you look
Yeah.
at the cryptocurrency space, the world is currently 8 billion people. Cryptocurrency
Yeah.
adoption is just about 4.5 to 5%. It means that a lot of people still do not know about
About
cryptocurrency.
crypto.
The
Yeah.
people who dominate in the crypto space are the people who own the roads, such that irrespective of what car you drive, that's to say that
Mhm.
irrespective of what project you bring on, you drive on the road. So irrespective of what project you bring on, you need Binance, you need KuCoin, you
Exactly.
need GetIO. These are major players in the crypto space. And so you want to focus ultimately on building an ecosystem, a holistic ecosystem. So if you want to
Yeah.
produce juice, you want to produce fruit juice, how about thinking of not just, you can start off by buying the, let's assume you want to do pineapple juice. You can start off by buying the pineapple by the roadside. But then
Yeah.
how about scaling your vision to a place where you have 2,000 acres of pineapple, and then when it is harvested from there, right on the site, they process it. Your trucks go there, they pick it up. There's a marketing and distribution network for you. You would realize that you control your entire business. And so
Yeah.
if you're looking at going into this whole entrepreneurship thing, these are things that you want to learn how to maneuver. Now, in going through these things, the very first thing that you need to understand is that your knowledge capacity must be high. I always say that
Mhm.
what you don't know is darker than the night.
And the
If you're
night.
not ready to invest in knowledge, trust me, the world will be far gone before you. We're living in a world where AI is literally taking over people's jobs. And I remember yesterday I had a meeting with a certain young man who works in a phenomenal firm. And then I said Chat GPT and he said, and also in the end, I'm like, what the, how come you don't know Chat GPT?
Chat
Like with all
GPT.
that's
At this
going on in
time.
the world. And it just tells
At
me
this
that
time.
such a person has decided to be very conventional. So if you want to
Hmm.
go into this entrepreneurship thing, you need to make sure that you have somebody who is very open-minded and somebody who has decided that you want to actually be open to learning. Then the next thing is that business, money, making, everything revolves around the community. So you need to be good with
Yeah.
people. You need to be very,
True.
very good with people, understand emotional management, understand emotional intelligence, understand people, the various kinds of people, how they behave, how to relate with them, and all. A greater part of you understanding people will actually determine how people come around you and people you can sell to. The more you're able to sell to people, the more you make money because sales is the lifeblood of any business. And so you need
True.
to understand that it's very, very important. Most importantly, you need to be somebody who has vision of what you want to do. ultimately you can have the knowledge, you can have good people skills, but remember the people will follow your leadership skills, and your leadership skills is premised on your vision. So you need to make sure that you are putting in a lot of effort and work to make sure the vision is working. If we're going to go back and forth and all of this, we can just talk about this for as long as possible. But
I know,
lastly,
right?
I'll say that you need to be determined and you need to persevere, because in our part of the world, Ghana, Nigeria, we're already like every day survival is a game of chance. So in
Mm-hmm.
trying to do business in our part of the world, you need to be very, very dogged. And that's to say that we don't have things on a silver platter. I have a friend in South Africa, 23-year-old guy who has a two-bedroom. And I visited Lennon in Cape Town, and I said, bro, how come you own a two-bedroom at 23 and you're thinking of owning more? And he says, bro, everything we get on credit. So I have a good credit score. I go swipe, I get a property, da da da. And
I
I'm
know,
like,
right?
Ghana,
Charlie,
you want to rent a two-bedroom. It is your hard-earned cash. There's nothing like
Charlie,
credit. And
cash
so
and carry.
your environment that you even find yourself in, and I know that this podcast is going to go global, is going to go international. So with everything that I've said, you need to consider it in context of your environment, because there are
Yeah,
things that will favor somebody who is based in the US if you're starting off fresh, and there are things that will favor someone like me who is Ghanaian who is also starting off fresh here. So you need to look at it in context of your environment. But the road is not going to be easy. I can guarantee you that if you're going to want to do your own business in our part of the world, the road won't be easy. But I can guarantee you something, it will be fulfilling. It's the reason why you told me, I said, when I was introducing myself, I said, has it been worth it? I missed all the
mhm.
challenges. Yes. If you ask me to go back and do this thing again, I will do it. Yeah.
Charlie, that was some deep dive into entrepreneurship. Too many information packed in small little time. Awesome, 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 Charlie. Yeah, I know when it comes to entrepreneurship, there, when it comes to, we can go on and on and on, but Charlie, we must move on. All right, so let's switch a bit, right? So I know you are
Right.
into agriculture, right? So
Right.
in Ghana, so I think the youth, for example, usually when you talk about agriculture, they're like, who wants to be a farmer and all that, Charlie. But me and you know, say money they there. So I beg, give you the tips. Why say agriculture? Why is it that agriculture is not like a luxurious thing? But then I know that people who are into it are making good gains. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think is the problem, or how do you think, or how do people go into agriculture in Ghana here and parts of the world, right? What are the things they can do to go in, and how can you convince the youth to start doing that? Because you just spoke about entrepreneurship. Let's say somebody
Mm-hmm.
decides that he wants to do agriculture as a means of business or a company, right? What are some
Mm-hmm.
of the things they should look out for, yeah, in terms of trying to go into agriculture as a whole, right? I
Right.
don't know if you get me, like the
Um,
path into
I get
agriculture.
you. I get you. So, why is it that a lot of young people are not ready to go into agriculture? My answer is very simple. Value is a function of perception.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind interprets value based off of how it sees the value. So,
Yeah,
for instance, our host genius could be worth 1 billion, but if he
amen.
shows up on the streets of Accra in tattered clothes, in Chalawati, walking around, people will call him a madman.
Yeah,
Why? And we can even say he's a billionaire. No one will believe, because of what they are seeing, perceived value. So
sure,
value is a function of perception and not reality. That's how come how I have a community of people I train and teach on wealth principles. And last Saturday I was teaching them that packaging is something that the rich understand. The poor do not understand packaging.
true.
Packaging is very important. If packaging was not important, let's clear all makeup stores. If packaging was not important, no guy should show up for a presentation in suit. Packaging
Yeah,
is everything. And so you need to understand that, first of all, how has agriculture been packaged?
okay,
Right from childhood, as far as I can remember to where I've gotten to, every single time we try to look at the sector of farming, what we get to see are old women and old people trying to, grow food. And the picture, the videos, and almost everything that we have seen growing up concerning agriculture and farming has got to do with old people.
that's true.
And the
That's true.
story and the narrative that has been sold is that you'd see a woman with a basket on her head and a child walking by her side with firewood on the head. Nobody would want to go into something like that.
Yeah,
Everybody wakes up today and every girl wants to be a slay queen, because there's a certain perceived value about slay queens. So,
frequency.
what is the perceived value about agriculture? And that's how come I give it up to all the young guys from John Dumelo to every single big person, young person out there. My good friend Iradam Karim, like, I have another friend, Prince Idioma, like all of these guys who go out there and project themselves as young farmers. It's very, very
Yeah.
important. The narrative is important. I remember the first time I put out content about my farming journey online. I had four people going into agriculture simply because they saw me go into it. And
Wow.
so the narrative and the story has been sold wrong. The perception or the perceived value about agriculture has always been it's been with elderly people and old people. I think we need to start changing that.
Right.
Then now, the story again concerning agriculture is that what most people have sold out there to us are their failures and their
True.
challenges. We
Mm-hmm.
have not really seen the success of what agriculture has done. And so that's how come, for me as a person, whenever I'm posting my content around farming and agriculture, I make you see the possibilities that are in it. If I tell you
Yeah.
that the world's population will hit 9 billion people, let's say, and beyond by 2050, and
Mm-hmm.
Africa's population currently, Africa has 600 million hectares of arable land. That is over 60% of the world's that would then mean that if we're going to farm and we're going to focus on Africa,
Mm-hmm.
600 million hectares of arable land, we're literally becoming like the food basket of the world. But how many people
Yeah.
are ready to invest? How many
In
people are
it.
ready to go into the sector? Because the narrative that has been sold has been wrong. And the next thing is that a lot of people also are afraid because then now you farm and then you do not have anybody to sell to. We've gone through that experience in a terrible way before. So now that's how come in learning and in growth, I say that the product is not important, it's the distribution, access to the market. When I
Right.
was speaking about the whole entrepreneurship thing.
Entrepreneurship.
So
Yeah.
that's about that. Now, if you want to go into agriculture, the first thing I'll say is that you need to understand what you want to go into and how you're going to go into it. Most importantly, the financial pool that will take from you to cultivating it, number one. Number two, you need
Yeah.
to make sure that you have access to markets. You need to
Mm-hmm.
have access to capital, you need to have access to the market. And then now you need to just know a little bit of ins and outs. Before I started farming, I went to stay in a town called Irede for like 3 months just to learn from the
Wow.
farmers on there. So what you need to understand is that first of all, you need to have capital, then
Mm-hmm.
you need to have access to the market, then you need to
Yeah.
understand what you are going to grow. Then now you can actually pick it up from there. Somebody will say, I wanted to farm, but I don't know where to get the land, da da da. Do they sell the lands and all? The good thing and the beautiful thing about agriculture is that you do not have to buy the land. You can actually rent lands from
Yeah.
chiefs to farm for a
True.
period. So wherever you are going, be it Sogakope, be it in Kranza, be it Eastern region, most of these chiefs have the lands there and you can rent from them per annum so that you can grow your crop. So you do not have to even buy a land. And sometimes these lands go as low as 100 cedis per acre,
Yeah.
150 cedis per acre, 200 cedis. Maximum I've heard so far is 250 cedis per acre, depending on which part you are farming in. And so pretty much
Wow.
that's it. And then you put in the necessary work, and I'm sure it would go well. Yeah.
Nice one. For all our listeners who want to go into agriculture, there you go. Those are your tips that you can go into. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe below for more content like this. Ah, I don't even know what to ask next because I know anything I ask, I will get content for a while. Ah, all right. So you mentioned that you are also into public speaking. You are a TEDx speaker
Yes.
and all that, right? So
Yeah.
tell us about public speaking. So because you see, some people have knowledge, right? But then how to articulate it or how to share with people becomes a problem, right? Um, Probably if you can give us some tips about public speaking, what kind of training the person should go through, what kind of things the person should learn, because you see there are a lot of
Okay.
people doing businesses, but they find difficult to share it. And one thing you mentioned is
Mhm.
that you should know how to distribute yourself. In this sense, if you're a public speaker, you know how to distribute yourself to your perceived audience, right, or
Mhm.
your customers, right? So
Right.
I'm asking because you're also a public speaker. So then,
Right.
what do you want to tell some of us who want to go into public
Okay.
speaking?
Speaking is an art. Speaking is a skill. Today I was speaking with one big man, and then he was telling me, "You are good at speaking." Like, and I said I had to learn it.
Yeah.
So let me give you guys a hack. The
Okay.
very first thing you need to know to be a good speaker is that you need to be knowledgeable. Whatever
True.
thing that comes after is trash. Excuse me to say, but your knowledge is very important. Whatever thing you want to speak on, your niche, you need to make sure you are very knowledgeable. Then now
Mm-hmm.
you need to learn how to articulate the knowledge.
Articulation of
So
knowledge.
I don't know about other speakers, but for
Mm-hmm.
me, so I'm going to speak about my experience and what works for me. When
Sure.
I pick a subject matter, I learn and understand the subject matter. Then the next thing is that at least I practice what I know on the subject matter for at least 3 months so
Hey.
that it becomes a part and parcel of my lifestyle. So
Right.
that when I'm speaking, so a lot of people have questioned how come I speak with so much confidence. The hack is that I have practiced it. Number one, I have internalized what I am saying. So it is not head knowledge, it
Mm-hmm.
is experiential knowledge.
Right.
And you see, that is when
Oh,
now, because it's experiential knowledge, when you're expressing it, it is not just coming from your head, it can also come from your heart,
your
the
heart.
well of inspiration. So whenever you hear me speak, I speak with a lot of confidence because everything that I'm speaking about, I have experienced it and I've made it my own and I've internalized it. So I
True.
learn and then I meditate on it. And in my meditation, I internalize it. Then I practice it so that I can come in presenting it. It comes with a certain confidence, it comes with a certain edge. Now, the next thing you need to understand is that your knowledge will up your confidence because you know that what you are speaking or what you are saying, you are very confident, you are very sure about it, your statistics and everything match, everything is in point. Then now
Yeah.
you need to understand that there are various kinds of audience. So the best way is to look for in the arena of public speaking, find 5 people you look up to. Or if you
Okay.
want to speak like someone, find 5 people you speak like or you want to speak like, and then find out how they speak. Because every speaker has how they speak.
Yeah.
Some people speak and their words flow into each other. So
Mm-hmm.
every creative, every person who speaks, obiara ne sɛnea ne deɛ teɛ. Some people speak and then theirs flow into each other. Some people speak and then it gets your heart pounding. Some people they
Yeah.
speak and it's like, hey, your head is exploding.
I
Some
see.
people
Right.
they speak and then it's like fire is welling in your heart. It's like you are not doing enough. It's like there's more you can do
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
whatever point in time with reference to what you are presenting. You can trigger any of these things. And it's we don't have the time, but I was going to talk about the 7 triggers of the mind. Maybe you read that in my next coming book. But your mind has 7 triggers. As a speaker, you need to know when to trigger what, to start what
Right.
conversation. You understand? So it's super super important that you understand the holistic scope of this. Then now, when you understand this, if you're going to approach an audience, obviously you should have rehearsed. So one of the
Yeah.
things I do is that whenever I come into new knowledge and I learn it and all of that, I rehearse. I do a lot of rehearsals. My hairbrush is my microphone. I do a lot of rehearsals. I pace in my hall. I try to
Okay.
find the space. I imagine the crowd in my head. Sometimes, whenever I have the free time, I can just go and stand by an event center, the empty room, and just imagine myself speaking. That way, you
Hmm.
overcome fear and crowd fear and all of those
Yeah.
things. So when you understand this, then now when you're presenting to a crowd, you need to weigh your crowd at every single point in time to know how to get them. And that is where stories come into play. Because now stories make what you're about to share very relatable. People can connect with you right from the onset. And it's the reason why a lot of people remember me in certain places I go and speak because I
Yeah.
would bring stories that you can easily relate with. And then now I can begin to share the knowledge that comes with it. So when it comes to public speaking, first find your niche, look for at least 5 people you can model yourself after. So when
Mm-hmm.
you look at someone like me, whenever I'm speaking or whenever I'm presenting, you
Mm-hmm.
can't really tell who I'm presenting like.
Presenting.
The reason being that I am a makeup of about 10 other speakers, some very known, some unknown.
Right.
People get amazed at how at 27 I have a certain depth of wisdom is because I learn from certain people who have depth that are not
Yeah.
some are not even on social media. I'm talking people who have probably some have even there's a material I'm reading. It was written in 1875.
Oh, that
The
long
person
ago.
is dead and gone. But the things I'm learning from that particular material about the universe is insane. And so when I begin to start speaking about those things, you go like, where did this guy show up from? Yeah, I showed up from somewhere. So every speaker has a source. So you need to have a source where
Yeah.
now you learn from you. So For instance, me, I have a way I speak.
Okay.
I have a way I present depth and presentation style. I have a way I want to dress and look when
Mm-hmm.
I'm on stage. There's a way I like to move about. My movement, I learned it from someone. At a certain point
Okay.
in time in my speaking, I had to learn elocution. So you learn elocution, the right pronunciation of words. At a certain point, you learn when do you pause. You
Mm.
learn it from the masters and the greats. So you have your people that you learn from, and then now you
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you master your content, internalize it, let it become one with you. That's the beauty. So the trick is this: for most people, they have revelation. For most people, they have knowledge. The difference, they don't have realization of the revelation. That's to say that they have not become one. They've not synced in with the knowledge. If you want to
Yeah.
make an impact with what you do, especially as a speaker, make sure that you are in sync with the knowledge that you are sharing.
True.
Unfortunately and sadly for us, we live in a generation where, because a lot of young people now have access to the internet and can create podcasts and things, everybody wants to wake up and share something. And so
Yeah.
you would see, for instance, there was a young man I saw on Instagram, and he was talking about how to make a million, how to get a million followers on Instagram. And his
Okay.
followers were 68. But yet he had put out content. And I'm like, young man,
Wait,
are you
what?
really listening to your content? So at some point,
Eh,
that is the reason why I like to practice, because nothing beats results. A
Yeah.
classical example, if
Like
I'm writing a book, How to Make Your First $1 Million in 72 hours, and Dangote writes the same book, How to Make Your First $1 Million in 72 hours, who will you go for? You would go for
Dangote.
Dangote, obviously,
Yeah.
because of results. And
Results.
so it's super,
Mm.
super important that you imbibe your content and let it be one with you. It's like a prophet saying that he wants to talk to you about the supernatural and things of God, and he has not
Yeah.
seen a ghost before. He has not even seen
Angels.
spirit pass by before. What? Or
Bro.
he wants to tell you about the supernatural. Where will he start from? You
Yeah.
understand?
I
And the
get it.
holy books
I
say
get it.
that without I think, is it without faith works is dead also, one of them. But your faith must go in line with your works. And so
Your
whatever
works.
you are preaching must have or must be in sync with your works. A classical example, I never called myself a global speaker till I had climbed up certain stages.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the fact that I'm on a TEDx platform makes me a global speaker.
Easy.
Yes.
Easy.
So I never referenced myself as a global speaker till I realized that I was on a certain pedestal. You understand? So
Yeah.
obviously, if we're listing the top 10 speakers in this country, I'd find myself in there somewhere. I don't think I've seen any speaker since I set out on this journey. I've not seen any speaker go on a tour. I'm
Yeah.
yet to see one
That's
speaker who did
interesting.
a tour.
Like
There's no
Ghanaian
speaker in
speakers.
this country. There's no Ghanaian speaker in this country who has toured this country. No, not one. Especially this year. But we have the likes of myself, Kwame Opoko, and Kwesi Otindespon go on a tour. And we attracted over 15,000 young people in our country.
I have to bring them here. I have to
If I
bring
was a
them here.
musician, my
Mm-hmm.
music would have reached 15,000 new markets. And so we need to understand these things. So it's super, super important. Results is key for
Awesome.
you if you want to be a public speaker. Yeah.
Results is key, guys. Results is key. Oh, that's very insightful. All right. Last one, right? So I think
Right.
you've spoken about, let me see, a lot of things. I think the last one I want to touch on is your author. You're an author. Your
Right.
name is Moses B. Arthur, and you are an author. See,
Bars, bars, bars.
I'm rhyming. I'm rhyming bars. Let's talk about your books that you've written so far, because I know
Right.
you've written about entrepreneurship and written about systems thinking. Charlie, the systems thinking book I bought from you, and some girl has come to take it.
Hey,
Please,
the
wherever you are,
girls.
bring the book. Me too. I want to read some. Because I was doing some notes and I was like, I have a book that I can refer to. I realized that, oh, the book is not there anymore. Anyway, those who come
The
into my
girls
house to
come
steal
for
my
it.
books, you are warned. Yeah, she says she loves the book. Wow. So, Charlie, shout out.
Oh, thank you.
So, let's
Thank
talk
you.
about your authorship
Right.
journey, if that's the right word,
Right.
and then the books you've written, what's coming out, what should we expect. Let's talk
Right.
about books now. Yeah.
Authoring is, it's a gift. If you are somebody who is not in touch, let me say this: if you want to walk as a god on this earth, you need to be in touch with yourself.
Ish. For ye are gods.
If you want to
Yeah.
walk as a god on this earth,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be in touch with yourself. A lot of people are out of touch with themselves.
Please
So for
explain that
me,
to us, we beg. In touch with yourself. Some of us, we are not spiritual people.
for me, one of the things that helps me in writing is the fact that I always seek to be in sync with me. That
Okay.
is where I draw inspiration and stuff from. So I can be on a plane and I'll draw inspiration from something, and then it will inform my writing. For instance, last week I was watching something, and it was a Netflix documentary. Then one of the guests in there said something. The moment the person said it, I said, "This is content for me." And quickly I
Content
wrote.
create.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so quickly I wrote, and it's my new content that will be out in some few days. I
We
quickly
waiting.
wrote, "You need to stop mental masturbation."
Hey.
And somebody will go like, "But yeah, it's a content I'm about to put out. If you want to understand what mental masturbation is, anticipate MBA is bringing that, and I'll write a book on that as well." So
Aye.
you need to be in sync with yourself. That
Uh-huh.
way, your entire environment can communicate with you. That way,
Interesting.
your entire space you find yourself in, you can draw inspiration from so many things, and that's the beauty of being a creative. So for me currently, I have two books out. And again, another thing you need to understand, for which reason I tell a lot of people, when you want to write a book, you need to understand why you are writing the book. Are
Okay.
you adding on to new knowledge?
Okay.
Are you sharing new knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going by the old knowledge? Have you studied the block and the subject matter and you found a gap and you want to
Okay.
fill it in? You need to know and understand why you are writing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whatever thing you are writing on, unless
Mm-hmm.
it's a novel, sorry, unless it's a novel, but if it's going to be practical, make sure you have results.
That's true.
It is the reason why, and again, to a lot of young people, see, you don't rush to author books. I see now says you be sorry no I knock back because maybe they think it's lucrative or they just want the title of being an author. But
Yeah.
I want to in writing for me, I make sure that I want to make sure 10 years from today, when somebody picks
Mm-hmm.
my content, it's still valuable. Recently,
That's
on one of my community members' birthday, I shared the PDF of my first book, The Entrepreneur's Journey. She has just started her business, and she said, "How come I didn't know this years back? But I wrote that book in 2018, but contents in it still are relevant."
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
answering a certain question for a certain couple. I used my
Mm-hmm.
second book, Understanding Systems Thinking, to answer them because in there I speak about the pillars of building a system. And you need to understand that you, as an individual, you are a system before
Okay.
wherever you find yourself in. So, in as much as the things that I even share are in relation to organization building, you can even use that
Mm-hmm.
to build a home.
Oh, true.
And so they are very, very important. You need to understand. So currently, I have two books out. Like I said in the intro, I authored the first one in 2018. The second one
Mm-hmm.
um, is Understanding Systems Thinking, the modern art of building learning
Yeah,
organization.
you have
That's
it there.
that's
Uh-huh.
that's the
Awesome. This is the book. This is the book
yes,
that I
that's
get
the
came
book.
to steal from my bookshelf. I am looking for it.
This is the book. So the first book is actually out of sale. We're out of hard prints, so
Yeah, you
we're looking at
mentioned it.
getting new prints from my print house.
Yeah,
And
I'll
then I'm
show
kind
it on the screen. I'll show
on the
it. The
screen,
cover.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll show
and I'm
it.
currently working on my third book, which will be out September this year. It's called The Seven Universal Currencies for Leveraging Anything in This World. I believe that money
Ish.
is not all there is to buying anything in this world. So there are seven universal currencies. I've been
Mm-hmm.
working on that book for the past 2 years. So, um, it's and I've not seen that topic anywhere. I've not heard of it.
Yeah.
It came to me as an inspiration, and that's the beauty. Like I shared something on Facebook a year ago. Recently, Facebook
Mm-hmm.
reminded me. I said, at the peak of my growth, I want to share my various meditations, and I'll call it a state called Moses meditations or thoughts from King Arthur, because it will just be my meditations and my thoughts on various subject matters
Right.
about the body, about the soul, about the spirit, and all. So these are things, and that's the beauty of being in sync with yourself. So authorship is it's a beautiful way of getting to actually know yourself. And I tell people one of the easiest ways to know yourself is to write. Whenever you are
That's
going
true.
through an experience and an emotion that you don't understand and you don't have
Mm-hmm.
anybody to talk to, write it down. I have a folder on my phone called Dear MBA. Whenever I'm in my lowest of lows or something hits me and I don't understand, I pick my phone, I go there and I type. I express
Okay.
my every feeling over there. By the time I get conscious and I'm not in that state again, sometimes I go back and I go and read the things I typed there and I'm like, what? Did you
Wow.
really write this? then you are really going through a lot. So it's like that. And we thank God for the gift to be of a blessing, even if it's one life, by means of authoring books. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Charlie, it's been a very insightful session. Thank you, Moses B. Arthur. But before we
Welcome.
go, I have this thing I do with every guest, right? It's either if you're an expert in your area, I'll ask you this question. So we want you to give us top three business hacks that anybody can use. So it's in two folds, right? The
Right.
business hacks here, I want you to give me my audience some free business hacks, two of them, and then one investment opportunity anybody who wants to invest some money can do. So two business hacks and one investment opportunity.
Two business hacks.
Yeah.
Um, Distribution wins business wars, not products. Obviously,
Uh-huh.
from the things I said,
Yeah.
distribution wins business wars and not products. Then number two, value is a function of perception. Nobody knows your real value till you make
Mhm.
them understand your real value. And that's
That's
the
true.
reason. And again, in saying that, you need to understand value means different things to different people.
Different people.
What
Yeah.
is valuable to a pastor may not be valuable to a pilot. What
At
is
all.
valuable to a malam may not be valuable to a president. Value means different things to different people. And so you need to understand your audience and how to create their value. And so in doing business, there's what we call offer creation. The reason why
Okay.
Apple does not struggle to bring you people product and shove it down your throat, whether you like it or not, and you buy, is because they've been able to work out that thing and they understand.
Yeah.
They
That's true.
understand what they are doing. Value means different things to different people. And you see, value is a function of perception. That is how come every airline does not sell or market the economy, but they market their first class so that you
Yeah.
see the luxurious bit that comes with it. And it's so important. A classical example to close is um, during this tour, we've been moving around with security. So
Hmm.
somebody sent me a message and wanted to book me for an event in Namibia. And so we are trying to still talk about it and all. Then the person said, "Sir, I'd like to find out your security men, do they carry guns? So that if one of them is joining you on your
Hmm.
trip here, we would like to seek for permission for their guns and everything." But guys, I didn't even tell this person I have a security. They went on my socials, they saw that
Yeah.
everywhere I go, there was a security, and they
Perceived value.
assumed, they
Yeah.
perceived that because he's a security man guarding His Excellency Moses Biata,
Be
he
at,
has a gun. But
of
I
course.
didn't tell them
Of
that.
course.
You understand?
Yeah.
So value is a function of perception and not reality. Yeah. So those
Charlie.
are my two hacks. Investment opportunities. Come and invest with me. I have plenty investment opportunities to give you.
On that, you have a community, right? On Telegram. What's the name?
Yes. Dream Dare and Do. So if you want to search out the communities, MBA Dream Dare and Do. Yeah, I'm
On
sure maybe
Telegram,
Kofi
right?
can add on Telegram, can add the QR code or something. But it's a community where I
Mm-hmm.
teach people from time to time. I teach everything personal development, entrepreneurship, investments, money. So there's a free one and there's a paid community. Cheapest community in the on the country with so much value.
Yeah,
Is
Charlie.
my community. The things I share in my community, I don't think anybody owns a community that teaches that.
At
And from the
all.
spirit of money to frequencies to bodily investments and also and financial investment opportunities
Of
as
course.
also in the dream there and do communities an open one as part of my value to those people on there for being part of the community. I create a monthly webinar called Chokma School,
Yeah.
where I bring guests or I teach various subject matters of interest. And in addition to that, I do a monthly AMA and Ask Me Anything session. And
Yeah.
from time to time, I do giveaways from Momo to anything. So it's just a community of people who believe in the MBA brand and where we're headed to, most importantly. Yeah.
That's a very big opportunity actually, investment opportunity. By joining the MBA community, it's a very good opportunity. So guys, if you are interested, I'll leave a link in the description, of course, so you can join on Telegram
Right.
and you can see what's going on there. You have lastly, you have a program, Chokma. You spoke about Chokma. Is it open to
Yes.
everybody?
So I've Chokma is always open to the community, everyone, but I have
Mm-hmm.
our first curated event for the community coming off on the 1st of July, Business on Prophetic Wings.
Yeah.
Um, Life is spiritual. There are four quadrants in our world.
Mm-hmm.
There's the physical realm, there's the emotional realm, there's the mental realm, there's the spiritual realm. It will interest you to know that the physical realm is moved or is regulated by the emotional, spiritual, and mental realms. So, for
Yeah.
anything to happen in the physical realm, we're looking at something that happened in the spiritual realm, affected your mental realm, and affected your emotional realm before it manifested. And so,
Yeah.
business is war, business is spiritual. You need to treat it as such. And so, with Business on Prophetic Wings, we're bringing you top tier speakers, people who are going to
Hmm.
teach business, but most importantly, people who are going to help you understand the prophetic destiny of your business and how to
Yeah.
scale it from one level of the to the other. It's not like the usual prophetic meetings you go for. This is very different, purely business, but things that will align your life, align your
Hmm.
prophetic destiny for your life, especially concerning your finances. And so you don't want to miss out on it. We're going to teach very, very deep stuff. How do you decode your personal year? How do you decode the year for
Hey,
your business? How do you know
nice.
that this year my business will
Hmm.
do well? How do you know this year my business will not do well? When you're going to meet somebody to do business with, how do you know that I should shake this person's hands? I shouldn't shake this person's hand. How do you know the outcome of things before they happen? Those are the things we're going to teach. And so, you want to be my guest 1st July. Standard ticket is 100 Ghana cedis. A VIP ticket is 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Nice
And
one.
it's happening live at Ampoma Hotel at East Legon. At exactly 9:30 a.m., we kickstart Business on Prophetic Wings, the maiden
Sharp.
edition. Next year, if you miss this one, don't miss. Oh, make una no miss. If you do mistake and miss this
Make
one, next year you have to enter plane to
your
come
own
to Dubai
wahala. Charlie,
experience it.
they go Dubai. Oh, sharp.
Yeah, yeah, they call Inti.
Yeah, they
We
go
want to
Dubai straight.
we want to do it. And imagine
Yes,
if
sir.
we're doing in Ghana in the field. Imagine taking it to a luxurious place in Dubai. We can say that day one we are doing the session on the desert,
Charlie.
because there's what desert does in your life and there's what desert does in your business. You don't know this one, so you have to come and learn. That's why you have to
Keys,
come.
keys, keys,
Yeah.
keys. Charlie, you make I enjoy. So yeah, this has been a very nice insight. This has been the longest one so far, I think. Yeah. Thank you for honoring our invitation,
Almost at 50 minutes.
Excellency. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Charlie, it was very insightful. Guys, if you
Thank
like
you,
this
bro.
content as usual, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more like this. Like I told you, I'm bringing on top people to the podcast only to tell you things that normally they won't tell you, right? And this is free content you're getting from here for free on this channel. I mean, you can get it anywhere else. Yeah. So, Charlie, thank you all for listening in. Thank you, Moses Arthur, for coming to the
Welcome,
podcast.
brother.
I'm
Welcome.
sure you share with the community as well, because I'm sure some of the things that
Thank
you're
you.
saying, they are familiar
Yeah.
with it. I hope to see them
Thank
here on
you
the
for
comment
having
section as
me.
well. So yes, it has been a great time with Moses B. Arthur. His quote is, "It shall never be well with poverty." His merch, I think, is it still in
Never.
stock? Is it in stock?
Onyanye. Yeah, we still have merchandise in
Oh
stock.
yeah, what's your website? I forgot to ask you the website so people can visit you there.
www.mosesbeata.com.
Right, and you're online as what, the Moses B. Arthur,
The Moses Arthur,
hmm
TheMosesArthur. So across every
on all
platform.
platforms. Yes,
Yeah.
guys, if you want more, follow him on his
TikTok,
Instagram. Charlie,
LinkedIn,
fire everywhere,
IG,
fire
Twitter,
content on his YouTube channel. You know, ever follow.
everywhere.
All right,
YouTube
Charlie, thank
Moses.
you all. Okay, 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 okay. Don't worry, I'll put all in the description. People go follow you like my head no
Yes,
go.
sir.
All right, thank you. So, bro, we will catch up soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you again next time next week. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.